Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World. I wanted to talk about something that I just saw in the news not too long ago that had to do with quarterback Cam Newton. As you know, Cam Newton he's a superstar. He's playing for the Carolina Panthers in the Super Bowl, and he's just had an extraordinary NFL career. He's an amazing player. One of the controversies that just came up had to do with whether or not people were not embracing Cam because of his race. They felt that he wasn't getting the love from sponsors. He wasn't getting the same opportunities that some people would think that he would get if he were a white quarterback. And Cam was pretty honest about it, and I like the fact that he was honest. And he said, I'm an African American quarterback, and people don't understand me. That was basically pretty much what he said to that effect. He mentioned race and the fact that people don't understand him, and he's right. People don't get him. People probably never will get him. Maybe one day people will. Maybe one day a lot of mainstream white folks will look at Cam and see him as no different from a Peyton Manning, stuff like that. I don't think that day is coming anytime soon. And here's the thing. It's not always built on some sort of deliberate animosity. One of the things that I saw someone write about, Brandon Marshall, another player for the Jets, made this point. And he said he thinks it's a generational thing that, Cam, he dances when he scores touchdowns, he celebrates. They're not used to quarterbacks doing that. Also, some people complain that he didn't marry the mother of his child. And part of that is generational. Maybe part of that is cultural. Not so much that that's black culture to not marry the mother of your child. I'm not saying that at all. But it might be cultural to Cam based on what he sees as a healthy relationship, and he may have some differences in terms of who he is that African Americans may be more likely to understand, to kind of look past, to kind of forgive, as opposed to white folks. And so. One of the things that I do believe is that it's not to say that racism isn't present in these situations. It usually is. But what we're really seeing is that when somebody has a cultural variation that people don't understand, it kind of goes beyond being a simple sort of identity based on what color you are. It's the fact that you're different. But race comes into play in all those situations because part of the reason you may be different is because your difference may be correlated with your skin color, right? So if Cam were a black guy who acted the way white people do, then Cam would be accepted by white people because they would understand him. But the fact that Cam is black means that he probably sees the world differently as a young black man. Not in a bad or a good way. It's just he sees the world differently. And a lot of times people don't like things that are different. It's no different from if I went to China and I did some things, everybody's used to singing before dinner, and I don't sing before dinner, then people will say, well, what's wrong with that person? Well, he doesn't sing before dinner. And I could say, well, you don't like me because I'm an American. You don't like me because I'm black. And the fact that I'm an American does mean something, right? The fact that I'm an American means that I don't think people should sing before dinner, but they don't dislike me because I'm an American. They dislike me because I'm different. But my Americanness is connected to my different, the different cultural background that I have, my differentness, if you want to call it that. So I don't think people's lack of ability to identify with Cam is always built on racism. I think that, but at the same time, it is in the sense that white folks have a lot of the power, they have a lot of the money, and so their culture tends to become the dominant culture. That's how assimilation occurs. You assimilate with the people who have the most power and the most money, and so ultimately there are rewards for assimilation, which is why you've seen so many Negroes line up trying to see how much they can imitate a white man, because they're thinking, well, if my culture matches his, then he's going to identify with me and he's going to pay me well. But to me, a smart black person, a black person who loves themselves and is comfortable with who they are, says, you know what, I understand that you can't get me. You may not understand me, but I'm not going to get mad about it per se. I'm just going to be who I am, and the people who get me are going to support me. And so Cam Newton will never go broke. Cam Newton, hopefully, I hope he doesn't throw his money away. Cam Newton is beloved by many people that respect his talents, but there are going to be some people who just don't get it, who just look at Cam and say, I don't get it. And race plays a part in that, but they're not deliberately sort of disavowing him because of the color of his skin. It's the fact that he's a black man that has a different kind of culture. If he were a white guy doing the same thing, I think a lot of people would still say, I don't get this guy. I don't get him at all, right? So again, I'm not belittling or writing off the impact of racism. In fact, in the example I just gave you, racism is everywhere. That's actually an example of structural racism, which is a kind of racism that can exist even when people in their hearts and minds are not trying to be racist. Sometimes just by supporting cultures and norms and historical precedents established by racist whites, you end up perpetuating racism. So in the NFL, white people got the money, white people own the teams, white people pay for the tickets, white people have all the wealth. So if you don't identify, or white people cannot identify with you, then yeah, you're going to lose some money. But personally, again, I think it's okay to walk away from some of that money. I mean, you got some of these Negroes out here cooning, doing all kinds of cooning to make another dollar. And I don't understand that. I mean, if you've got $5 million in the bank, the cooning should be over. There's no reason to coon. If you're cooning, and you're financially secure, and you're cooning so that you can have extra money on top of the extra money you already got, that's like a prostitute working for free. Seriously. I mean, people can understand if you have to be a prostitute because you got to feed your kids. Okay, we can get that. But when you are living in a nice house and you got plenty of money, and you still hooking after that, that means you must enjoy it. You must actually like this stuff. And that's what I really find frustrating about celebrities, is that you'll see them hooking for free. You'll see somebody with Jay-Z. Why in the world does Jay-Z have to assimilate? Why in the world does Jay-Z have to call himself a nigga in front of an audience full of white people? And I'm not just picking on Jay-Z. I'm just talking about anybody. Well, why would somebody who's got a lot of money, like even Steve Harvey, when he was doing that cooning thing, I don't give a damn about slavery, which is about probably the most disrespectful thing I've heard a celebrity say in the last 10 years. Because our ancestors literally would get castrated and burned alive and beaten and hanged from trees. So we can't say we don't care about that. If somebody raped and murdered your mother, and you say, well, I don't give a damn about my mama, that would make you the most pathetic piece of shit that has ever walked the face of the earth. So when we say we don't give a damn about slavery to impress a bunch of white folks so we can get a bigger paycheck, think about how horrible that you have to be in order to even think that's okay. Think about how addicted to coonery you have to become in order to do that. When you got 50 million, 80 million in the bank, there's no reason for you to behave that way. No reason. You could say, you know what, I got enough money. I'm gonna have integrity now. I'm gonna be a man. And that's it. So that's it. I didn't mean to go on that tirade. And I'm not trying to attack Steve Harvey, because it's not really his fault. We have parts of our culture that teach us that we should sell every inch of our ass to make another dollar, even if we got plenty of dollar bills in the bank. And what I'm saying to you is this: when you go build your wealth, when you go make your money, find out what your what we call it in economics, we call it the satiation point. Figure out the point where you have enough FU money where you can say, I'm done. The cooning's over. I'm not bending. I'm going to be who I want to be. Figure out where that point is, so that when you hit that point and you run into a major ethical dilemma, you don't find yourself saying something that's going to make you hate yourself in the morning. That's it. Again, everybody has to compromise. You can't pick every battle. You can't always go to war with everybody on every little issue. But when it comes to something like, if somebody says, oh, well, slavery doesn't matter, and you're tempted to coon and be quiet a little more so you can make an extra million on top of your 20 million, you might want to stop yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, because at the end of the day, we can't get addicted to this kind of behavior. So I know that had nothing to do with, that last 3 or 4 minutes had nothing to do with Cam Newton, but I think what it does, it does circle back to Cam to a point, in the sense that Cam's going to be all right. Cam is a great quarterback. I have seen this guy play since he played in college, and he was extraordinary. I'm really happy to see that he's doing so well. I love the fact that he smiles a lot. I think that is, that's endearing. I think people should, that right there would lead me to instantly hire him to do corporate endorsements, because the man has a winning smile and a winning attitude. He's having fun. He's very good at what he does. His team loves him. He's a great leader. He might win the Super Bowl. I don't know, maybe by the time you watch this video, you'll know if he won or not. I don't see anything wrong with Cam Newton. person. And if anybody does, then that's where the racism does come into play. When you somehow define him as a bad person because he does not align with historical, historical Caucasian value systems, that's nonsense. That's ridiculous. Cam, keep playing the game, brother. Keep doing your thing. Keep being yourself. And I'm gonna be watching, man. I wish you a great career. All right, everybody. Well, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World. Please take care. God bless. I'm gone. Peace.